Ange Postecoglou is unsackable. He's actually unsackable. Mate, it's incredible the progression of Ange Postecoglou. There's no logical reason, really, why he should still be in a job. It's certainly not the league position. It's certainly not the performance in the Cups where he's out of 2 of the 3 Cup competitions he's in. It's certainly not his interviews and his demeanour with the media these days. He shouldn't really be in a job, I don't think. And I'm a big fan of him, but he shouldn't be in a job based on results alone. But he's become unsackable because, A, there's no genuine alternatives to take his place from now until the rest of the season. And B, because he does have this kind of pocket aces of 14 senior players injured, it is real. Like, it's not just a flimsy excuse. Like, that is a real thing, and he's right to kind of lean on that. But it's created this odd situation where a man who, by Premier League standards, Ollie, he should have been sacked 10 times over by now, is actually unsackable. And I tell you what, mate, if David Moyes was available, if Graham Potter was available, if a Conte or someone like that was available, they'd be in right now. No question about it. He would have got sacked on Sunday night after being knocked out by Villa in the FA Cup. But because those people aren't available, because there's no one available, it's Big Ange till the end. And I think that I said on Not Another Sports Pod last week that the game away at Liverpool in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final and the game away at Aston Villa were the 2 biggest games in Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham career. I still think that's the case. I think this week has finished him as a Tottenham coach. I think that when he gets sacked will be presumably the summer. But yeah, I think Ange Postecoglou is currently, he is unsackable at the moment. I do actually have an idea for Tottenham fans of who they should get next, but I don't know if you want to slot it in later in the pod when we talk about Spanish football, or are you chomping at the bit to hear it now, Ollie?
No, I'd like to hear this. Stay on the Postecoglou soapbox, because we stay on here quite a lot, but I thoroughly enjoy every
Here's what Tottenham need to do. Forget the flavour of the month. Forget pretty football. Forget to dare is to do, or whatever random Latin motto you have. Like, forget all that stuff, okay? Forget your Mourinhos and your Contes, and forget all of this. You need to go out and get Diego Simeone, an Argentine winner, a snake in the grass genius. Someone who doesn't care about pretty football. He only cares about getting the right result and winning. His legacy at Atletico Madrid, where he's just crossed 500 La Liga games, is absolutely astonishing. That man is a winner, a leader, and he's someone that Tottenham, I think, should be going for. Now, his contract, he's still got 18 months left on his Atletico Madrid contract. The suggestion is he's not going to renew it. Obviously, the Argentine national job will be something he'll be after, but that's the kind of job. He's 54. He could take that in 10 years if he wants. So they need to go out and get Diego Simeone, because he's an antidote to what they've been trying to do unsuccessfully for, as far as I can see, the last 20 years. This great name in Mourinho or Conte or this or that, like it just hasn't worked for them. So they need to go out and get a gritty winner, and Diego Simeone is that man. And if I was Daniel Levy right now, I'd be tapping up Simeone, and I would say, and I was going to talk about Diego Simeone during the La Liga section of the podcast, but I will just say now, he's been at the club since 2011, incredible loyalty, incredible longevity for a top club. I think he's the second longest reigning coach in Europe, and to do it at a really big club is very rare. Won La Liga twice, a Copa del Rey, a Super Copa, a couple of Europa Leagues. I mean, lost in 1 or 2 Champions League finals, can't remember, won the Super Cup as well. So it's had big success, and for Tottenham to be successful, for me, it's bye-bye Ange, hello, hola Diego.
Ange Postecoglou right now is like the MP who's caught in a scandal, and there was a point very early on where they should have resigned and stepped away, and all their advisors were like, no, you can stick this through. And then they've got to a point where they go, oh no, I should resign, and all the advisors go, well, no, actually, the time to resign was 3 months ago. Now you need to stick this out, and you need to ride this thing till the wheels fall off, and it's probably going to end very badly for you. But Tottenham and Ange have just missed that point of like the dignified, look, it's not working, because they're trying to keep forces through. And I think you're incredibly correct in the injury crisis hasn't helped Tottenham, and that is kind of the ace in the hole for him in terms of an excuse at the end of the year, or at least it gives you enough sympathy that people have the opportunity to say, well, if he wasn't missing 12,
it's an excuse, but it's real, right? Like 11. That's a real thing. I mean,
yeah, it's one of those ones. It's the classic manager will go, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but this isn't it. We've got an injury problem. And it's like, well, you are saying it's an excuse. You're just trying not to say it's an excuse, but I get it. So it is there to kind of keep a little bit of redemption for Ange Postecoglou. But if the time to get rid of him was late December, without a doubt, to give somebody the wiggle room for a transfer window.
I probably won't say this very often, not another sports pod, Ollie, but I thought Jamie Redknapp produced a very funny line when he said Ange Postecoglou is like that gambling advert. When the fun stops, stop. And it's just like, I thought that was really funny. Because the fun has stopped now. Like, the fun at Tottenham, it really has stopped. Like, 1 week they're winning 5.
It was a good giggle till October. Like, November, it was like, well, we're trying to clamour something back. Because, we had some fun, but we have lost quite a bit. And December, it was like scratching around, starting to steal money through your nan's purse.
That's exactly it. I mean, he's just, I don't know, the analogies for Ange, you could go on and on. It's he's kind of like, he's the friend that, after 3 drinks, he's the life and soul and everything's great. And the next thing you know, it's 1 a.m. and he's chatting politics in your ear and you just want him to leave, like, because it's all just got a bit messy. But I thought Jamie Redknapp got it spot on. When the fun stops, stop. But one thing I will say is that he does still have this lifeboat off the edge of the Titanic in the Europa League. Like, it is still there. And I think he'd have to win the Europa League now to keep a job. I don't even think reaching the final would be enough. So he does still have the Europa League. I mean, it's a competition where there's some crap sides in the Europa League. Ollie. No one's dropping in from the Champions League this year. I mean, you look at it and you think, well, Man United, Tottenham, I think Lazio, is it Athletic Bilbao? Like, there's not, they're all sort of big clubs in their own right, but there's not too much to be scared about in the Europa League.
But if we were talking about Tottenham and Chelsea switched and Tottenham were in the Conference League and Chelsea were in the Europa League, I'd definitely be saying Ange can win that and could win it at a canter with this Tottenham side. I think the Europa League this year, there are sides that are not great, but we're not talking about a top Tottenham side. We're not talking about a top Premier League side. We're talking about a side that are struggling in the top level of English football a lot, like clear as day. And putting the eggs in a Europa League basket is the most unsafe basket you've ever seen. Like, it's one of those old wicker ones that's got a lot of holes in and it's snapped at the bottom, and there's basically an egg-sized hole in the very bottom middle of it where you have to put your hand over that hole to make sure you can carry those eggs without them all dropping out. It's just far too precarious and dangerous. So while it is technically a lifeboat, I wouldn't be saying if he won the Europa League, like, oh, all's fine, it's all good. I'd actually say, if anything, that's the best time for Postecoglou to have a mutual parting of the ways. Well, I did bring them some silverware. Look what they'd done to other managers.
Ollie, he'd keep his job if he won the Europa
like
League.
Nuno Espirito Santo and Jose Mourinho. Yeah, but I think Postecoglou should turn around and walk and go somewhere else more than anything else, because I don't think Tottenham is such an interesting club with the way that Daniel Levy kind of handcuffs managers and his team during a transfer window, because he doesn't want to spend that amount of money. He wants to run it as a maximum profit-making business more than anything else. And if Postecoglou won the Europa League, I'd say it would be the perfect time of a mutual parting of the ways. Levy doesn't want somebody that's going to put them in such a precarious position in the Premier League. Postecoglou has got silverware and